when it looked like there's a group of black women that has attacked Caitlin Clark and her fan base online, ruffling old.
Take this. Some bad people talked about Caitlin Clark live on a video service. The whole WNBA community was shocked by what they said. They didn't hold back. It's also not like they tried to hide anything. They just made it very clear how they really feel about her and the people who like her. To be honest, hearing those words out loud was pretty rude, disrespectful, and shocking. It makes you wonder if people really are crossing a line when they attack Caitlin in this way. Or if this is just what happens when you're a famous athlete.
I totally agree with that, and I also think that that some of the new fans got a rude awakening when they did come to the W, because what happened was their fave was not the best. And so that was their issue. Like, I get that she was the Rookie of the Year. I understand that. But you're also battling and competing with people like Nikita Collier, with people like your own teammate, Kelsey Mitchell, with other people who, like we've all said, have been here for a while, like the Breanna Stewarts, who have been here. So I'm confused as to why, like Diane Taurasi said, this is a grown woman's game, baby. Yeah. So, but we're going to change the subject.
So this is what really took place. A panel talk took place on a streaming show called Playback. It all of a sudden became about Caitlin Clark and her fans. Also, listen up. These women on the panel smashed her totally. This is not a case of constructive feedback or careful analysis. This was a direct attack on her skills, her accomplishments, and even the people who back her. The tone as a whole was bad. The comments were very personal, and it sounded more like a personal grudge than a sports analysis. Alright, let's talk about what was said. Someone talked about how Caitlin's fans came into the WNBA with such high hopes. They thought she would become the best player in the league right away. According to this person, those fans got a rude awakening when Caitlin didn't win as planned. Yeah, Caitlin won Rookie of the Year, she said, but she's up against established stars. These are Jay Wilson, Breanna Stewart, and Kelsey Mitchell, who is on her team. It was pretty clear what the message was. People who follow Caitlin aren't as good as they think she is, and everyone needs to be told this. That really set people off, she said. It was said that Diana Taurasi added, "This is a game for grown women." It was clear what it meant. Caitlin may have been great in college, but the WNBA is not at all like college. Nobody here thinks much of her. These women have been playing against each other for years, and she is just another person trying to stay alive. It was rude and condescending, and it was clear that the person wanted to put Caitlin and her fans in their place.
You have no motion. You have 131 followers, and you're speaking on CC.
If you can believe it, things get even worse now. Right after saying all those mean things about Caitlin, they tried to change the subject right away. It seemed like they knew what they said would make things worse, but they didn't care enough to defend their point of view. After exchanging gunfire and making peace, they walked away as if it wasn't a big deal. But it was a big deal because the whole rant was recorded and shared on social media in just a few hours. It happened quickly and strongly. The people who liked Caitlin were totally mad. They wrote in the comment parts. They sent out quotes from the video and criticized the judges for being rude and hateful. A lot of people said something interesting. Before Caitlin even came on, these people didn't mind if the WNBA was ignored and looked down upon. But now that she has millions of new fans and a lot of attention for the league, they want to put her down and say she is too popular. It's silly to be so hypocritical.
I think a lot of these old guard WNBA media reporters, old guard WNBA fans is happy as hell. I truly think they happy. The fandom is over. The hype is over. Caitlin's stuff is over. They can go back to normal. Being in a sunk.
And to make things even worse, the time of everything makes things even more frustrating. It was the best season in WNBA history, and it just ended. And to be honest, Caitlin Clark is mostly to blame. The number of attendees went up a lot. TV numbers went through the roof. Sales of goods went through the roof. Engaging on social media went through the roof. This season, the league made more money than it has in decades. All of this happened because Caitlyn made people aware of basketball for women. Her popularity has caused millions of people who didn't care about the WNBA before to quickly become fans and buy jerseys. Some old guard WNBA fans and media people are really upset about all of this, though. They do not like how much attention Caitlyn gets. They don't like how new fans are more interested in her than in players who have been playing for a long time. They don't like that the WNBA story is now about her instead of the players they like. What do they have planned? They use every chance they get to put down her achievements and her fans.
Said what I said. I said what I... You said what you said, huh?
Come on, let's be honest about what's going on. People in Caitlyn Clark's league are mostly black. And it's clear that some people don't want her to be the WNBA's face. They think it's wrong that she gets a lot more attention from the media than black players who are just as good, if not better. That corporate supporters and the mainstream media seem to favor her over the league's black stars is also seen as racist by these people. To be honest, there is some truth to that. The WNBA has had a hard time selling black players compared to white players for a long time. Also, that's a big problem that needs to be fixed. But let's talk about it. The problem won't go away by attacking Caitlyn directly and putting her down. The only thing it does is make the league look small and broken. If you want more people to notice black gamers, you need to really sell them, get people excited about them, and make interesting content about them. Why waste your time trying to convince people that Caitlyn Clark isn't good at basketball? Because, let's face it, it's not true. She works hard, is skilled, and has earned her spot in this league. You may understandably like all of this, while also pushing for better representation for other people. What's strange is that those comments on the playback showed another thing that has been building up all season. A lot of old-school WNBA fans are glad that Caitlyn's attention is waning. People are less likely to talk about the league now that there are no games to watch. Less and less people are using social media. Less and less people are watching WNBA videos on YouTube. Some people are thrilled because it means things can finally go back to normal. Millions of people who came just to see Caitlyn aren't as important to them as a small group of dedicated fans who care about the athletes they care about. When you think about it, that way of thinking is completely crazy. For decades, the WNBA has been begging for attention, struggling financially and seeing its players leave for better chances abroad. Then Caitlyn Clark shows up and gives the league a level of popular attention it has never had before. Some people want it to fail on purpose instead of getting behind it and finding out how to keep it going. They're glad that the excitement is wearing off. They want other fans to go. They would rather play in a smaller, less famous league that only serves their needs. But there's a big problem with that way of thinking. The WNBA needs money to stay in business. It needs sponsors, big TV deals, ticket sales, and money from selling goods. For all of these things to work, there needs to be a large group of loyal fans. If the league goes back to being a niche product that only die-hard fans care about, it will have money problems again. The players will still get poor pay and play in pitiful conditions. Everything will keep going in the same way. Some people just couldn't stand that Caitlyn Clark was drawing attention to the league. Also, there's the question of how this might look to people who might become new fans. Watching this stream makes someone who started following the WNBA because of Caitlyn feel bad about herself and her fans. What do you think they'll do in response? Why would I even support a league where the media actively hates the player I came to? It makes the WNBA look bad and turns off people that the league should be trying to keep interested. Also, don't forget about the Rookie of the Year topic for a second, since these people brought it up. They agreed that Caitlyn had won the prize, but they tried to make it seem less impressive by saying she was up against well-known artists. That's how professional sports work then. There are always veterans fighting against rookies. Being named Rookie of the Year is still a big deal though. In her first season, she was good enough to stand out among players who have been in the game for years, which makes it even more amazing. During her rookie year, Caitlyn scored more than 19 points and passed the ball 8 times per game. Those numbers are pretty amazing for anyone, let alone an athlete in their first year. She had the most assists in the league. She broke a lot of records for a rookie. She even helped the Indiana Fever go from being one of the worst teams in the league to a playoff hopeful. Those wins don't just go away because some people on a webcast chose to play them down. But this is just one example of how people are trying to change the story of Caitlyn's first season now that it's over. During the season, even her enemies had to agree that she was doing well because her wins and numbers showed it. It's much easier to push these other stories now that basketball isn't being played. She wasn't very good, you know? Her fans have crazy ideas. People only paid attention to her because she was black. The other rookies did about the same, if not better. It is totally changing the past, and it is done on purpose to make her accomplishments look less impressive. The racial part of this situation is tricky and upsetting, but it needs to be talked about. If you look at the media and business support, Caitlyn does gain from being white. That is an undeniable fact. The WNBA is no different from other sports in that the media tends to favor white players. It is not fair that black players with the same amount of talent are not given the same chance. But taking out Caitlyn's anger on herself doesn't make things better. It wasn't her job to build this. It's just her existence, and she's doing her job. If the WNBA and its media partners really wanted to fix this problem, they would work hard to get black players more attention along with Caitlyn. They would make stories and advertising ads about players like Jay Wilson, Breanna Stewart, and Sabrina Ionescu. Instead of focusing on just one person, they would show off all the great players in the league. But this requires work and intention, which doesn't seem like a reasonable goal. It's easy to go after Caitlyn and the people who support her. During this whole mess, people have also forgotten how much Caitlyn respects her friends in the league. She doesn't say bad things about other people. She doesn't say she's better than anyone else. She just comes to play, works hard, and praises both her friends and her opponents. She has handled the stress and criticism that come with being the most popular player in the league with a lot of maturity. Because of this, some people decided to treat her this way. The time of this stream is also very strange. At the same time the WNBA was having talks with unions about a possible boycott, the league is in a very dangerous situation right now. Now was the perfect time for everyone to show that they wanted to grow the sport and make it better for everyone. Instead, media figures on streaming sites are making things worse by criticizing the league's biggest star. It's simply behavior that hurts yourself and doesn't help anyone. Also, there's the question of what these judges wanted to say. Did they think that Caitlyn's fans would hear this and agree right away that she's not worth the hype? Did they think they were giving useful information that no one else had thought of? Or were they just showing how they felt and loving the attention that comes with saying something controversial? They seemed to know exactly what they were doing based on how quickly they tried to change the subject after giving their comments. They only wanted to take a few shots and move on before they ran into any serious opponents. The whole thing shows the WNBA's main problem, which is that the league keeps getting weaker. They have finally become well known and made a lot of money, but people in the WNBA environment are trying to ruin it. There's a strange, self-destructive attitude that's holding the league back. It's shown by players taking cheap shots at Caitlyn on the court, reporters playing down her successes in their stories, and panelists attacking her on streams. Fans are just sick of it. They're sick of seeing the WNBA hurt itself over and over again. They're tired of how Caitlyn gets in trouble for things that other people do without getting in trouble. They are sick of all the bad vibes, drama, and constant attempts to make a fuss where none exists. Not all that trash. They just want to watch good basketball and cheer on good players. Something bad about this is that it could have been such a great chance to grow and get better. The WNBA was getting stronger. They gained new fans. They had chances to make money. They had the chance to build something that would last for a long time. We're not taking advantage of this. Instead, we're going back to the league's long-standing problems and fighting among itself. That mess is mostly caused by people who say they love the WNBA, but can't get over the fact that it's finally becoming famous. This makes you think about where you stand on all of this. Should these judges not have talked badly about Caitlyn in this way, do you think? Or do they really have a problem with how the league pushes some players? Let me know what you think. This subject is far from over. Also, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe if you want more WNBA news and analysis.